Welcome to Movies Redux. Today, I'm going to recap a crime thriller, Bound, that is about a tough ex-con Corky and her lover Violet, who devise a scheme to steal millions of stashed mob money and pin the blame on Violet's crooked boyfriend, Caesar. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. The movie starts with Corky, who is tied with ropes and remembers her past when she arrived at an apartment to renovate it as a painter and plumber. Unlike doctors, plumbers are in the business of prevention. One day she comes across Violet and Caesar in the elevator. Corky looks deeply at Violet's legs while leaving the elevator. She enters her apartment and talks to Bianchini on the phone. She then hears the naughty voices coming from Violet's apartment. While cleaning the bathtub, she hears the doorbell and goes to open it. She opens the door and finds Violet there. They greet each other, and Violet asks her to have a cup of coffee together. She enters the apartment and gives her a cup of coffee. She appreciates Corky's skill in painting and plumbing. After staying there for a while, she leaves for her apartment. At night, Corky goes to a club and enjoys some drinks. She sees Jessie there and asks her to contact her anytime she likes. She then returns to her apartment and tries to sleep. The following day, when she's busy with her work, she receives a call from Bianchini, who asks her to go to Violet's apartment for some plumbing work. She goes there, and Violet tells her about her earring stuck in a drainage pipe. She removes her earring and gives it to her. She thanks her and tries to seduce her by showing a tattoo in her breast. She likes her tattoo and touches her breasts. Violet wants to get intimate with her, and they start to kiss each other. But suddenly, Caesar comes, and they get separated. He is surprised to see Corky there, but Violet introduces her to him. He feels happy to see her and welcomes her warmly. He gives her some money and she gladly accepts it. She then returns to her apartment and resumes her work. At night, when she is leaving for work in her truck, Violet reaches there and seduces her to get intimate. They spend a night together, loving each other passionately. Violet tells her Caesar is a money launderer, and they have been living together for 5 years. The next day, she comes across Shelley, who reaches there to see Violet. He enters her apartment, and they start to get intimate. Corky can listen to their naughty voices coming out of their apartment. She doesn't feel good about them. The next time Violet and Corky get intimate, Corky seems a little angry with her because of her relationship with other men. Violet tells her it is her job as she is a prostitute. Corky gets angry with her and leaves, slamming the door. The next day she sees some Mafia people who come with Shelley to see Caesar at his apartment. Mafia not only breaks the law, it makes the law too. Later, she listens to Shelley's painful voices as Mafia people are torturing him. Johnny beats him badly as Shelley has embezzled $2 million. Caesar gets upset with the noise and asks Johnny to stop beating him. He gives Johnny a towel and tries to pacify him. He then comes out where Violet tells her she is leaving the apartment because of these Mafia people, but he convinces her to stay. Caesar doesn't like Johnny and asks Mickey why he is here, but he doesn't reply and asks Violet to go for a walk and not stay in the apartment. She tells him Caesar wants her not to leave the apartment. Mickey convinces her to go, as they may take a long time to make Shelley reveal the secret of the embezzled money. Then Caesar brings a sharp clipper and they mercilessly cut one of Shelley's fingers. Corky listens to his cries in her apartment and gets upset. She goes out and sees Violet there. They go to a bar where Violet tells her about Shelley's attempt to embezzle the money. She further tells her she wants to get rid of all this and start a new life. She asks her to help her in doing so. She tells her they can get $2 million if she helps her, but Corky disagrees with her. Violet returns to her apartment where Caesar returns with the money splattered in blood. She is shocked to see him in such a terrible condition. He tells her they have killed Shelley and recovered all the money. He washes and irons all the money to make it clean. Later, Corky and Viola plan to steal the money in Caesar's office. Viola tells her about Johnny, who is Gino's son. Caesar doesn't like him because he's a psychopath. Gino is going to come to their apartment to collect the money at night. Corky tells her it is the best time to steal the money. She asks her to drop the bottle of scotch when Caesar is taking a bath. She does accordingly, and he gets angry with her. She pacifies him and goes to buy a new one. Corky enters the apartment and steals the money from the case when she goes out. Corky returns with scotch and tells Caesar she has just seen Johnny downstairs. Caesar is surprised to know it and rushes to see the missing money in the case. He thinks that Johnny has taken away all the money secretly. He gets agitated and dejected at the loss of money. Violet thinks he will run away to save his life, but he tells her he won't go anywhere. He is too desperate to talk to Violet and asks her to leave him alone. She calls Corky and tells her about Caesar's restless about losing the money. Corky tells her to pack her luggage to go alone if he doesn't agree to run away. Caesar tells her he is going to get money from Johnny, who must be at the airport to receive Gino, but she disagrees and starts to pack her luggage. He asks her not to leave him alone, but she is not ready to stay with him anymore. At this, Caesar takes out his gun and asks her not to leave. She has no other option but to obey her, so she surrenders. He suspects that Violet is involved in stealing the money with Johnny. She gets angry and slaps him on his face. Soon, Gino and his men reach there. Viola greets them happily, and Johnny tries to get closer to Violet. Caesar offers them drinks, while Corky impatiently waits for Violet with the stolen money. They cheer and enjoy their drinks. Gino asks Caesar and Johnny to respect each other. Then Gino asks for the money, and Caesar brings the briefcase. Johnny starts getting harsh with Caesar, who asks him to open the case. When he opens it, he finds only papers there. He shouts at Caesar, who points his gun at him and asks him to return the money. He tells Gino that Johnny stole all the money. Johnny can't understand all that and starts shouting at him. Caesar fires near him to frighten him. Seeing this, Gino gets enraged and asks Caesar to put down the gun, but he doesn't do so. When he tries to get his gun, he shoots him immediately. Then he kills Johnny and his men too. Soon, the police arrive there and he hides the dead bodies in the washrooms. I've never had a problem with drugs. I've had problems with the police. He cleans everything before the police enter their apartment. When they get inside, Caesar pretends to hear a little louder and increases the volume of the television. The policemen tell them the neighbors called them to hear the noise of gunshots. Caesar tells them it is due to the television and asks Violet to switch if off. The cops get satisfied and leave. When they leave, Caesar comes out with Violet to find the money in Johnny's car, but he doesn't find it there while Corky follows them with her gun. Money is like a sixth sense, and you can't make use of the other five without it. He assumes the money will be at Johnny's place, forcing Violet to sit in the car and drive away. He reaches Johnny's place and tries to find the money desperately. He searches every nook and corner of his apartment but doesn't find it anywhere. Getting helpless and tired, he starts to weep while Violet tries to console him. He then calls Mickey and tells him that Gino and his men haven't arrived. They return to their apartment and Violet asks him to run away as soon as possible, but he tells her they have to dump the dead bodies first. She calls Corky and tells her about it. Suddenly, Caesar comes there, realizing Violet is involved in stealing the money. He points his gun at her and asks her to tell him the truth. He thinks Violet called Mickey, so he dials the number again. Corky receives the call but doesn't speak, realizing Violet is in trouble. Caesar then starts to torture Violet, and Corky listens to her cries. She reaches to rescue her, and Caesar learns they both stole the money. When Caesar finds out the truth, he ties them up, puts a gag on them, threatens to kill them, and asks where it is. Mickey comes over to see what's going on, and Caesar, who is scared, makes a deal with Violet to help him hold off. Mickey is getting ready to kill Violet when Johnny's cell phone rings. She quickly gets Caesar to act like he's on the phone with Gino, who is calling from the hospital, to say that he and Johnny were in a car accident. Mickey finally changes his mind and heads to the hospital. He goes to find the money next door after Corky tells him where she hid it. Violet gets away, calls Mickey, and tells him that Caesar stole the money and asked her not to say anything. At the same time, Caesar beats Corky to the ground when she tries to stop him from taking the money. Caesar was about to kill her when Violet showed up with a gun and told him that Mickey was coming and that he should run while he still could. At one point, Caesar tells Violet that he knows she won't shoot him. Violet tells Caesar, "You don't know shit," and then she kills him. Mickey later tells Violet that he will find Caesar and that she doesn't need to call the cops. He believes Violet's story. Even though Mickey wants Violet to be his girlfriend, Violet tells him she needs a clean break. She gets it by driving off with Corky. Here the movie ends. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more recaps. Your support means the world to us. Feel free to drop any comments or suggestions below. Until next time, take care and stay awesome.